Ohio State is expecting to be in play for a national championship this season, but they can't do anything about that except just paste Akron. Poor Akron that's getting a $1.9 million paycheck on Saturday when they come to Columbus. Got Steve Merrill on the line from wagertalk.com. You can catch his NFL selections as well as college football there at wagertalk.com. Steve, this is a classic blowout situation with Ohio State almost a 50-point favorite at home.
Damn it, I would take half of that. I'd take like 900,000 to come play Ohio State. I'll take them all myself. That's insane that they're getting that kind of a paycheck. And that's exactly why they play these games. And it kind of puts in perspective, why these teams do so poorly. In fact, if you look at non-conference game one records the last 5 or 6 years, the SEC has been over a 60% play, almost 65% against the spread. The MAC has been the worst of all the big conferences. They've been about 40% against the number. And it makes so much sense because if you look at Akron's schedule here, start off with Ohio State and Rutgers on the road, South Carolina in week 4, and then they finally have a conference game in week 5. The conference game is all that matters to them. They don't need to win these games. They're not going to win these games. They're just trying to get out of there healthy and hopes that $1.9 million check cashes when they take it to the bank because this isn't a game they're trying to win. So we always looked for reasons to play the big favorites. When it gets this pricey, it does get a little tricky because Ohio State can do all they want and still win by maybe, 6.5 touchdowns instead of 7 and not cover. But my database simulation takes into the X's and O's and just the matchup and doesn't really take the motivation factor in. And on average, 10,000 simulations, Ohio State wins this game by 58 points. So the line is still almost 10 points too low. If you're going to play it, the only way is to lay it. You don't want to ask bad teams to do something good for you. You don't want to take the buy and hope approach with Akron squad that has gone 6-30 the last 3 years. They're consistent, 2-10, 2-10, 2-10, consistently bad, and they've gone 1-7 in the conference each of the last 3 years. They have no chance of competing here. They have no backdoor cover potential. And the other thing to keep in mind is that Ohio State can try to take their foot off the gas, but when they have the second team in there, there's no drop-off. And I would probably venture to say the third team is still better than the Akron starters. So they're not going to be able to help but name their score in this one. Last year, they played Western Kentucky in their second home game, third game overall, as a 28-point favorite. They won by 53. And they have a history of winning these games big, and that's the only way to play it, in my opinion.
You get Steve's selections for not just college football, but the NFL at wagertalk.com. And as you will find out the details here in a second, Steve's under the radar selection, one pick a week. It's exclusive here at the Voice of College Football. As a Patreon or a YouTube channel member, get the details right now. Thanks for stopping by, Steve.
Thanks, Mark.
College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under the radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Dace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.